Hopewell, Republican strategist in Washington. Jano, come in. You've obviously been following this along with the rest of us. We're still, I think, in a little bit of shock because we thought it was headed one way and it didn't work out that way, and now we want to know why. What's your thoughts?
Well, you know what? The FBI director laid out a good case for what I believe to be an indictment. He talked about over almost 60 emails containing classified material, some of which had the highest classification. Additionally, when he read out the charges saying that Hillary Clinton and her staff acted recklessly, a reasonable person should have known better, I thought, man, maybe this comes into play with section.
I can tell you why.
Very strong. But I thought that 793 subsection F of the U.S. Code negligence there, and I thought that even with all the charges being read, my opinion is Hillary Clinton ran her State Department like a corruption castle that even former Governor Rod Blagojevich would say was wrong and illegal.
Whoa. Wendy, explain.
Let me tell you why he did that. And that, you know, lots of times if you hear a non-indictment after all this hype and all the public outrage, people will say, yeah, but they didn't consider this, or he didn't consider that. Had the FBI only looked over here or over there.
Right.
By the speech he made leading up to the announcement that there would be no charges, he let everybody know he did consider all the facts and circumstances. So we've got
covering his backside is what it's called.
We've got to respect the integrity of the process, is another way of saying that.
Yeah, okay.
Right, exactly. And he did that to make sure that we weren't sitting here at the table afterwards saying, where was he when this happened? Why didn't he look at that? He did consider everything that we know about and much more, I guarantee you that, and then still reach that conclusion.
But we don't necessarily agree with that. I mean, what we heard him say, we all thought that she should be indicted. So just because he gave his case that they considered everything, if they considered everything,
well, they should
and the conclusions they came to don't add up.
Yeah, that's why people will wonder whether this was a political decision. And it gets back to what we were just talking about. Why betray us and not Hillary?
And that goes back to the
R
word, the rigged, right? That's what Donald Trump already said.
And Jana, we've talked about this. Look, Bill Clinton meets with Loretta Lynch in some far-flung place, and it's all very strange. Then they interview Hillary over the weekend for 3 hours. Today, they clear her of criminal charges. This afternoon, she jumps on Air Force One and goes to Charlotte.
It's very convenient.
It's all very convenient, isn't it?
Right. You know what? I think this shows even more that the Clintons work on a different set of rules than the rest of us. The fact that they can have, Bill Clinton can have a meeting with the Attorney General who could potentially be handing over an indictment for 35 minutes talking about grandchildren and golfing, it's ridiculous. I just can't believe that the State Department, not the State Department, but the FBI has taken this road. And the State Department, obviously, I believe that was some potential cover up there because she continued to say there was no classified material, and some officials within the State Department agreed with her.
Well, let's be clear. So the FBI director saying 110 emails were classified, 8 of them top secret.
Well, the top of the top secret.
And thousands were secret, which is not quite the top. So, I mean, those aren't supposed to be divulged either.
You know, listen, how much does Comey come under fire here, Wendy?
Oh, he already has. He already has.
He's on this table, but in general, you know.
I think the conversation at this table is representative of conversations occurring in living rooms across the nation.
I agree.
And he knew that was going to happen when he came to the conclusions he had, which again is no doubt why he laid out the speech the way he did.
And it's why this isn't going away.
And it may not. It may not. In fact, just because there's no charges today does not mean, as some of you have inquired earlier, does it mean that there may not be some level of liability, even criminally, for some other acts in the future?
Now, Hillary is going to have to respond to this, obviously.
Well, that was my question. When will she do that?
Yeah, that will be a key moment for her presidential campaign. Whether
or does
she? She's going to have to. I mean, there's no question about it. She's going to be dogged by this for 4 months.
Presidential debates should be interesting, assuming that...
Well, I think she's going to have to, in the next 48 hours, she's going to have to address this. And she's got to knock that out of the park. She's got to sound compelling. She's got to be sorrowful. She's got to...
Let me ask Larry
Has she said she's sorry? I don't even know if she has.
All right, let me start with Georgette. What does Hillary Clinton do now? How does she spin this?
I think I disagree. I think it doesn't have to be one of these big speeches where she lays out. I think she just says, you know,
I told you.
I told you so. I told you I'd never be indicted. You know what?
I don't think that works.
Look, we did everything, and I already said I'm sorry, and you know we probably should have done some things differently.
I acknowledge I made mistakes,
and that's it. And she doesn't blow this up any further because all she can do is then. The more she talks, the more we number the lies.
So Larry,
1, 2, 3, 4.
Very good. Larry Elder, let me ask you, does Hillary basically ignore this, or does she face it head on in the next 48 hours?
No, she'll say, I've been vindicated. I told you all along I did nothing wrong. As President Obama said, there was no intent. President Obama even said Hillary would never do anything to harm the nation. And we've been talking about David Petraeus. And remember, David Petraeus even came public and said what she did was different than what I did, giving her a lifeline.
Larry, are you saying that you think that this was essentially a whitewash by the FBI? I mean, do you think she should have been indicted?
Based on what Comey said, for 80% of what he said, I thought he was going to recommend a criminal referral. I was stunned when he didn't. And given his reputation, that means she is home free as far as the indictment is concerned. So she'll say, I have been vindicated. Absolutely, she'll say that.
I think her reaction might be a little different than that. I agree, Larry, that definitely she is going to say some version of that. I also, however, think that she now has the space to give more of an apology than she did before. Remember, before when she addressed this, she still hadn't been interviewed and everything is still in the air.
That's true.
The pressure is off. Can you imagine how relieved she must feel today? I know she claimed that she knew she wasn't going to be charged, but you never really know. So now she may actually have the space and the luxury, if you will, of laying out a more detailed and more heartfelt
But does that make any difference to the voters?
To voters, it might. To voters, it might. Because it detracts from the level of arrogance.
I think this was a terrible, terrible day for Hillary Clinton.
John, are you still there? What do you think? Do you think if Hillary Clinton has now got the breathing room to really discuss this issue, can she appeal to voters or not lose voters at least from the outcome of this?
I think that she will lose voters from this. And you think about what the FBI director said in terms of her acting recklessly. And you know what? To me, that was saying that her and her staff acted like a loose cannon. And you know what a loose cannon sometimes do? Misfire. So for her to say things like that about Donald Trump, we see that we really cannot put the well-being of our country in our hands because she acts recklessly when it comes to the lives of the American people.
You know what? Going into this, almost everyone I spoke to said, I don't believe there's going to be a criminal prosecution.
Yeah, that's
right. Did you hear that, Steve?
So really, I did not think there would be a prosecution.
So that's
and you couldn't have come closer to the edge without a criminal prosecution.
It's like we're sitting here all surprised, but we all didn't think it was going to happen anyway.
Yeah, right.
But now that it's real, we're all reacting the way we were when we first heard about this. You know, nobody can believe with the level of evidence and recklessness that it actually did not end up in it.
And also, just to underline, possible hack by foreign.
Yeah, that's scary.
Absolutely.
That's frightening.
But that's still not enough for criminal charges.
And that's also something we've been talking about that's been out there. It's not news to the public.
So now she has to campaign for 3 months saying I was grossly incompetent. And you're right. I mean, that's her only defense.
That's what Donald Trump is going to hammer on.
You bet.
And I may have been hacked.
And to Wendy's point, still there could be charges down the road. Well, what's the likelihood of that?
Low.
Low nothing.
Low to none. But nonetheless, if it's any solace, no investigation is ever closed if new evidence comes to light.
So does the Department of Justice have to make a statement, or do they just say thanks very much and never deal with it again?
Well, they don't have to. You know, like you said earlier, Hillary Clinton has to speak, nobody else necessarily.
All right. Boy, we've run out of time. So much more to say. Larry Elder, Jana Caldwell, Wendy Patrick, Georgette Mosbacher, Emax, Steve Moore, you've been brilliant. Thank you, one and all. That's it for us.